Few of us can envision such a view of Yandang Mountains, eastern China's Zhejiang province. Vines come alive with the rhythms of life. Boulders stand firm and strong. Exuberant blossoms loom large, arrayed like monuments. The vivid flowers accentuate the lush wilderness. Tiny blades of grass blades add rich layers to this image honoring spring. In perfect tranquility, you can almost hear the chorus of frogs. The juxtaposition of motion and stillness expands the view of the horizon. Here is the spring of Yandang Mountains. This painting is the impression of blossoms of Yandang Mountain, created by Tianshou in 1962. The immense canvas never fails to impress and overwhelm every spectator. This is the former residence of the artist in eastern China's city of Hangzhou. In 1962, Tianshou, the then president of Zhejiang Academy of Fine Art, lived and painted here. On the sun-drenched day of the masterpiece's creation, the artist was solemn and serious. He was determined to achieve a breakthrough in China's traditional fine art. This long contemplated endeavor only came after numerous experiments.
在50年代呢，有一种说法就是中国画这个东西是没有前途的。在这个大的转折当中，可以说是潘天寿解决了其中的关键性的本体论的问题。
In 1953, Tianshou was frustrated in his efforts to transform the national character through fine art education.
This is 1953年的档案。这是教学人员名单，我们可以看到这个教学名单里面，潘天寿啊、黄宾虹啊被划去了名字，因为当时呢传统绘画不受重视，所以老先生呢就是他们的教学课时啊非常的少。
Back then, the popular urge was to capture the spirit of the times. This demand was fulfilled by the realistic approach of Western oil paintings. The traditional fine art of China, considered stagnant and conservative in technique and subject matter, was faced with the grave crisis. In those years, students choose to steer clear of traditional paintings. The dwindling interest compelled Pan Tianshou to explore a new path of bold innovation. It was an era when the Communist Party of China led the people in rebuilding the country. Each citizen was brimming with patriotism, confidence, and a sense of purpose. The elation spread to the cultural scene.
一个民族有一个民族的文艺，我们说写意中国化。那么意是什么呢？大家都知道种满条的竹子，他说是牙斋卧听萧萧竹，一世民间疾苦声，仿佛从这个竹子里面能听到疾苦的声音。所以意很显然是涉及对于主观精神境界的一种表达。
Pan Tianshou was determined to imbue his landscape with the sweeping spirit of that inspiring era. In the late 1950s, Pan Tianshou arrived in the Yandang Mountains in Zhejiang. Here he sketched the natural scenery, the fauna and flora, and the rocks and boulders. In these primeval manifestations of nature's power, he seemed to have beheld a heartwarming era emerging before his eyes. On this stretch of Xuan paper of 4 by 1.5 meters, Pan Tianshou laid the vigorous brushstrokes depicting the magnificence of his artistic vision. The distinct hues, the extensive breadth of perspective, the blossoming wildflowers, all come together into a breathtaking composition. A song of praise for that period in history.
他是用这块大石头，表达出了他内心的这种坚实感，对民族文化的自信。 像大石头那样的坚实和不可动摇。
The image is filled with the pulsating force of life and the animating breath of the times.
既写雁荡山，他的画的最高妙的地方，不是说我具体的画到了一个什么情节性的绘画，它实际上是在 画面里面那种精神气质的一种变化，绘画或者是文艺作品的确是时代的镌刻者。
Chinese fine art derives its vision from the innermost. The brushstrokes manifest a human's aspirations from within. The distinctive colors and ethereal modeling can render a broad view of both the physical world and its impression on man's spirit. Han Tianshou opened up a new realm for Chinese painting, thanks to inspiration from the new era. Just like the artist once wrote, artistic quality is ultimately measured by spirituality. A single step can spell the most vital difference.